Thank you, I believe, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, multitudinous guests. Toastmasters is fun. As you can tell from this evening, we're all having a hoot. Everything's just a lot of energy, lots of laughs, really good atmosphere. But there's more to Toastmasters than just a jolly good time. We have an educational program. I'm going to introduce the educational program for the benefit of our guests, as well as many of our newer members. I'll introduce the program, give some of the details behind it, talk about why you'd be interested in it, why it's important to you as a speaker and as a Toastmaster, and then finish off by telling you how to take advantage of it. Now it's time for my props. When you join Toastmasters, I've said to a number of guests here that when you join Toastmasters, you get toys. This is a cult, as I mentioned before. But it is a well-spoken cult, and I have the evidence to prove it. These are not coloring books. They're not supposed to be, but you can. One is competent communication. The other is competent leadership. Competent communication, that one seems, or should seem, relatively straightforward. We are all here to learn how to talk good. This is a way to help us do that. Anybody who comes in with a certain level of speaking ability can follow this mighty 10-step program. It sounds like I'm selling something a little bit fish oil. This is not the case. The exercises in this book focus on everything from vocal variety to using gestures to being prepared for your speech, getting to the point. And when you work through this book in a sequential fashion, you will be a better speaker. You will be more conscientious of what you're doing, how you're doing, what you're saying, and how you're saying it. We've had many members who have started off at a level of ability and have seen it grow and improve drastically just through following this exercise. The Competent Leadership Manual, basically anything that you do at any Toastmasters meeting, you can get credit for it. Now that sounds a little bit on the superficial and facile side. There's more to it than that. It's not a matter of showing up, taking on a role, and getting a badge or a star, although that would be fun. This explains the leadership aspects of each of these roles. Because one of the things that we have in Toastmasters, I'll let you in on a little secret. This is not just about learning how to speak well. The whole Toastmasters experience basically is there to help you build your self-confidence. No one in this room will believe that I was lacking self-confidence when I joined Toastmasters. Sadly for all of you, I have even more than I used to, just through going through this and through being part of Toastmasters. We have seen a number of people who have come through just the whole experience of being up here on the stage and taking part in these meetings has given people the confidence to get up and say what they want to say and say it very well. Why would this be of interest to you? It may seem obvious, but I've learned over the last 50 years that anything that seems obvious really isn't, and it may have to be explained in some detail. What might seem very clear to one person is muddy to another person. Why would you want to join? How many people here would like to join Toastmasters or have joined Toastmasters because they want to learn how to speak better or become a better public speaker? Fantastic. How would you determine this? When I joined Toastmasters, I thought I was a good speaker. One of the things I realized is that I talk a lot. The two are not necessarily equal. And I was deluding myself for a very, very long time that I was a capable public speaker without having any yardstick against which to measure that. None. Nobody had ever given me an honest opinion of my speaking abilities, at least not to my face. And nowhere was there a structure. Was there any way that I could go through and say, I'm at this stage, I am now working through and getting even further along. The education program allows you to do that because not only are there our basic manuals, flashing them again, but as my dear friend and evaluator Gordon will attest, there are advanced manuals. He's writing in one right now. Happens to belong to me. When you get to the stage of being a competent communicator, you're ready to begin public speaking. I know that sounds a bit disappointing, but that's one way of looking at it. When you finish Competent Communication Manual, you have the basic tools and the basic skills to really start working on your public speaking ability. I'm working from an advanced manual right now known as Public Relations. And I'm supposed to be speaking persuasively. So when you're doing your evaluation, see if I was persuasive or not. There are many, many opportunities to work further than the basics that are in front of you. If a person chooses, they can go through and complete numerous advanced manuals that focus in on different aspects of speaking above and beyond what you could consider the basics in the Competent Communicator Manual. In much the same way, once you complete your Competent Leadership Manual, it does not have to end there. One huge advantage and hugely educational advantage of Toastmasters is that there are more than enough opportunities to volunteer. It can go a little far. Case in point, I'm Vice President of Education for Vancouver Entrepreneurs Toastmasters Club, Facilities Chair for the 2010 Fall Conference, Governor for Division K, and Public Relations Officer for District 21. Clearly I have problems saying no, and my therapist and I are working on that, but that's not for here. What that shows is that there are more than enough opportunities for everyone in this room to take part and to make a contribution. How do you do that? Well, to quote a friend of mine, one of the first things you want to do is get your butt up here. If you have the opportunity to let things fall out of your book, take that opportunity. There are 10 speeches in here. We have lots of room in our agenda for people to come and practice their speaking skills. You can be going through your Competent Communicator Manual or your advanced manuals. There's no time scale on it. You do it at your own pace. You do it at your own speed. Same with the Competent Leadership. You can go through this manual. You can work your way through a variety of different volunteer roles, and it's what you want to get out of it that you'll get out of it. You'll grow and build as a person. For those of us who are entrepreneurs, the entire room, for example, this is our only opportunity for professional development. For most people, it's an opportunity for personal development, but for us, it takes on a whole added measure. I invite you all to look into the education program through Toastmasters, and as your VP Education, my team and I are here to help. Mr. Toastmaster.